Hello everyone, I thought I'd come make a sit down video just to talk about my birth experience because I haven't done that. No thank you baby. Luca's 3 weeks old now, so I thought it'd be the perfect time to talk about my birth. So on the 14th around 11 o'clock I went to triage because I had a really bad migraine. I had a really bad nosebleed and it was just bizarre for me to be getting them when I hadn't had a migraine my whole pregnancy. Nosebleeds I hadn't had in years, and I was like, what is going on? They checked me over and offered me the sweep, and I took the sweep because I thought I'm already 4 days over now, like 3 days over. I might as well take the sweep. When she went to go and do the sweep, she said that she could feel the baby's head and that something for the baby was at the back of his head, maybe like my waters or my cervix was at the back of the baby's head because obviously he was so low down. And then within like 5 minutes I started bleeding, having cramps, felt like period cramps to be honest, but I was having contractions within like half an hour. I drove myself back home and then carried on with the day, but I got everything prepared. Like I filled my car, I got Hugo's outfits ready, made sure like food was like out for him, and then I picked him up from nursery. And then obviously like I couldn't get out of the car, like I was having really bad contractions, so I came home and got in the bath. And I started timing my contractions, and it literally told me to go to the hospital within like 5 minutes of me timing them. But I knew that they weren't that bad for me to go to the hospital yet. So I laid on my bed, did some stretches, and then I was like, I'm definitely, yeah. And then you can tell them about you meeting him, 1 second. And then I was like, no, I definitely can't drive to the hospital now, because obviously I did want to, but I was like, nah, 100% not. So Tyler's friend actually kindly took us to the hospital, like he was here straight away. And then they checked me and they said that I was 4 centimetres dilated, and I think they check you like every 4 or 5 hours, but they told me that I can't have the water birth because the water wasn't on, even though the person in triage who obviously made the birth happen told me that I'd be able to have one. So I was quite angry about that because I might not have got the labour started knowing that I couldn't have a water birth. And then basically around like 1 o'clock they checked me again and I was like 5 centimetres dilated. Don't hurt me please darling. Stop it please darling. And then basically obviously the time just went on and I was really struggling, so they broke my waters for me, and apparently they came out like gloopy. I didn't even know that my waters had been broke. I didn't think they did, but Tyler was actually telling me a couple of days ago that when they checked me like the 4th time, they broke my waters for me, and like he had to give them a stick or something like that to do it, like obviously a medical one. So they broke my waters for me, and I was sitting on the bed constantly like in so much pain, saying that I can't do it anymore, like I don't know what to do, like this is ridiculous now. And then I asked them if I could have a bath, and I got a bath. Stop it baby. So I was in the bath, and then it only lasted 15 minutes because the contractions were so bad that it was like taking over my body, and like actually sitting in the bath didn't relieve it at all. It was making me have sweats. I was like, I feel ill, like I'm gonna be sick. And yeah, they just obviously basically keep on checking you. And then around 7 o'clock or like 7:30, I was obviously attached to a whole machine at this point. I was like, I really need to go for a wee. Like I kept doing it where like I had to keep getting unplugged to the machine and like go to the toilet. They take me to the toilet, and then they come in, they're like, Chelsea, like what's going on? I was like, I'm pushing. I started pushing on the toilet, so I had like 4 nurses like pick me up and take me back. And then obviously when I got back in the room, I started pushing. I was pushing for an hour, and then this is where like obviously the scary part comes. So basically I'm pushing for an hour, they're getting me to roll around, go on my side, do all of this, and nothing's still happening. And that is because ultimately his head was actually stuck in my pelvis where I was. But obviously I got taken back into the room, started pushing. within an hour they were getting really worried. Obviously his head was stuck in my pelvis because he was such a big boy. But then what happened was, all I really remember is that they pressed the emergency buzzer. They pressed the emergency button and said head stuck. Had 2 people jump on the bed either side of me, pushing my belly down, basically like pushing him out of my belly, and then obviously a few people down there like pulling him out. My main midwife Donna was obviously really apologetic. She was like, I did pull him out, like you'll have to get his shoulder checked and stuff like that. But as soon as he came out, they lifted him up, dried him off a little bit and took him straight to resuscitation. So it was quite scary, but I was so out of it. Like, I was in a lot of pain. I was quite distressed. But they brought the baby back into the room and laid him on me. And then I asked him to be taken off because where I was so weak, I wasn't aware of my surroundings. I felt a bit worried. I didn't want to like drop him. I was in so much shock. So then Tyler took him, and then obviously I got him back after like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I was more able to process what was going on. I wouldn't really say it was traumatic because I was just so happy and relieved that he was out, he was alive. Because obviously when they get taken to resuscitation, you don't know what's happening, but they brought him back within a minute. And then he weighed 10 pounds. He did have the vitamin K shot, even though I wasn't going to do any of that, just because where his head was stuck in my pelvis for an hour, I didn't want him to like get any blood clots or anything. And yeah, I did go with the vitamin K. But I am someone that will be checking every vaccine that my child has and the ingredients, because when Hugo had his 13-month vaccine, are you okay? When he had his 13-month vaccine, he couldn't walk, he was crying, like he was in so much pain, and it scared me for life, like seeing him like that. But if anyone has any questions about my birth story, feel free to ask. Oh no. And I'll answer.